Hello.
If somebody's a fraud, I'm gonna take you to court. I'm not gonna argue with you. Like,
What did
no,
I
they
miss?
said, why are they saying the documents are fake? I'm like, first of all, what I think is ironic,
The same thing we read.
right? And I physically did not read the documents. Now I have them, but I didn't read them. And I received them from Ivory. But for some reason, I'm the only person that was spoken on. I think that's kind of odd.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know why you're taking all the heat.
That's just crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, Nina didn't make these documents. I got them and gave them to Nina.
And there's receipts for these documents, like.
And I will show them after I read them tonight. This way y'all can see them. So there's that. But hello, guys. Hello, Tess.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
So,
Hey, Mercy.
Happy.
Hello. Hey, Lisa. How are you? Hey, Dawn. Hey, Magda. Yes, thank you, Magda. Guys, don't forget to tap. Don't forget to tap, tap, tap. Thank you, Rand. Thank you.
Tap. Thank you.
My contacts are so like dry tonight. I had the heater on and it's like they're dry.
Oh yeah, that's how it was for me earlier. So
Thank you. Yes, guys, I have a goal of 50 of them today. So thank you. I really do appreciate them. I finally learned how to put a goal up. That's kind of funny. Hey, guys, share this out too. Do me a favor and share this out if you can. Hey, Megan. Oh, my eyes are so
Gio, you can give me your iPad so I could type in your stuff, Papas.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Days. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Give me the iPad.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I need you to
yeah, I think it's wild. Thank you. Hey, Halamon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What's for story time tonight? Hold on. Let me get my eyes and check over here because then I'll be blind as a bat and there won't be much of a story time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna have nostalgia.
And you know what I just really think is interesting?
What's up?
When everybody's saying, "Oh, Gypsy said this," I don't understand why y'all are sitting here and not believing her.
That's okay. So that's the whole thing. I will tell you where it is actually her words, and it's fact. And I will tell you, I've been reading the documents and telling you what it means. You guys can read it for yourself. I have not been skipping over. I have not redacted anything.
Also,
I have not added anything. I have read it word for word in sections, not just one page. I read it in sections.
Also, I would urge you guys to ask Bree to show you page 65 and 66. Okay.
And those are
so while she's over there saying like it's made up, but she won't show you those pages, ask her to show you 65.
She has exactly what we have. Nothing has been taken away. Nothing has been added. And again, I've read it in its entirety. So if somebody wants to come with me and tell me what I have redacted or I have added, please do so. So I can confirm that it is not. I can confirm something. If you're not going to tell me what
yes, I can show you 65.
If you're not going to tell me what you think that I altered, please come at me and tell me what I've altered so I can show you that it's not altered. You can't say, oh, you altered that, and then not tell me what you're saying that I'm altering. So
65 and 66 will show you this information. So ask Bree to send you the same thing.
Guys, I'm going to mute because I'm going to shout at my husband and ask him to get me my glasses because my eyes are just about done.
Okay. And this is where Gypsy basically admits that she had a surgery. And after the surgery, the doctor told her that she had a seizure and she was paralyzed. They didn't know if it was only temporary, and she started getting feeling and tingling in her legs. She was young and she kept it to herself, and she kept it from her mom because she was afraid that her mom would stop loving her. So she kept it to herself until 2011 when she rebelled and ran away from home. Okay, so that goes to show that at that moment, from 6 years old, so I want you to understand how diabolical that is for a 6-year-old to, I don't know at what point did she get the feeling back, right? Because it doesn't specifically state
No, it
here.
doesn't.
So anything that I say right there would be assumption. That would not be fact. But it would be safe
You
to
know she got
say,
it back at some point.
yeah, she got it back at some point and she decided not to tell her mom. So is that Munchausen by proxy? Let the class say. Okay. So that tells you right there that this whole thing is a lie and she's a master manipulator. Tell Bree to show you just that. Because if she just shows you page 65 and 66, right? And if she can show that page 65 and 66 with the same document number and the same stuff on the sides so that I know it's the real page, if I altered it, file charges, sue me, and I'll give you $500 Cash App right now.
I agree. Me too. Me too. You got to be careful saying that.
And 10 toes. And I want you to know that for you to say that someone forged documents, that is a problem. That is defamation. And you yourself can be sued. Bree, do you want more lawsuits? Because a class action lawsuit from all creators that have covered this, I don't think that's what you want. And I don't care if you're on the streets.
Where's your contact case? Because I don't.
Oh, it's upstairs somewhere.
Okay? I don't care if you're on the streets. I don't care if you don't have money to eat. That is not my business. And I said what I said, so there's that. But just on that basis alone, that just shows that this whole thing is a scam. Okay? 2 news outlets reached out to us and an independent journalist. So I'm sure you're not ready for this.
Yep.
Why are you playing?
You're super
And why
excited.
would anybody submit that to them if it was forged?
Yep. Absolutely. We did.
Play with it.
We sent it away to an
Play with
awful
it.
lot of mainstream media people, and we did get a few responses back. So, you know what I mean? I also want people to understand. I understand that she may never get put back in jail again. That's not the point of this.
Yeah.
You can sit there and claim that you want. Now, I have said this since the beginning. They both need to be in prison for life. I've said it from the beginning. I've never altered from that. I've never changed it. However, he did not get a fair shot with his trials. He didn't. And so everybody deserves a fair shot. If you sit there and you look over the paperwork, it wasn't even close. That's my injustice. He has taken responsibility, he has taken accountability. He admits he does it. He doesn't feel like he did. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm not saying what he did wasn't horrible. Absolutely it was. But everybody is entitled to a fair trial. And so, yeah, that's it. It was obvious that it wasn't, there was a lot of injustice happening there. And it was blatant. It was obvious. In my opinion, it was obvious.
Right.
Then you also have to look at the fact that, again, someone tell me how and I'm not defending him, what he did, thank you so much. What he did makes him a horrible person. It makes him a murderer. I am not going to sit there and act like what he did wasn't absolutely horrible. It absolutely was. The murder would never have taken place without Gypsy. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. That's the truth. That's a fact. You can't argue that. Dee Dee would still be alive if it weren't for Gypsy. Okay, so you know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can really. It is what it is. And then you have to look at the fact that she got that plea deal based on this story of abuse that I don't believe. You can all believe it. That's your right to believe whatever you want. I've never told anybody what to believe. I tell you what I believe. I do not believe she was a victim of abuse. I am entitled and I have a right to that opinion. What gives me that opinion? I tell you why I form my opinion. I tell you what facts I read. I tell you what I look at, and I have looked at both sides. I have looked at everything. I have spoken to people. I have not just come at this one-sided. I have come and made my decision based on an awful lot of perspectives. So there's that. Okay, I'm entitled to my opinion. If what I'm saying is lies, then disregard it, guys. If Gypsy's gonna sit there and say that I'm making this paperwork up and I'm lying and all this is a lie, okay, call me a liar. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me either way. I'm still gonna put out the story that I want to put out. I'm still gonna talk about what I want to talk about. So at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. And to sit there and act like him being in prison, yes, I'm going to say this too, and I have said this from day one. He was offered 2 plea deals. But why was her story of abuse that was never proven, why was her story of abuse taken into account and she given a plea deal because of her history of abuse, right? But nobody took into account his abuse. He was also abused. So, you know, it's that it is what it is. It's gotta be fair for both of them.
Hold on 1 second.
And if you look at this paperwork and you look at everything, you look at what you know, you look at sorry guys, my eyes are so dry. You can see that there was an injustice. Tell me how the judge heard it. It went to the Supreme Court. Do you know how many people have died on death row who were innocent? That also goes up the chains to the Supreme Court. And yet they still died and they were still innocent, proven after the fact. Because judges did not want to take things into account. It happens. I'm sorry. You can say what you want. It happens. So you mean to tell me it's possible for it to happen to everybody else but not this case? I see it differently then. So that's just the way that I see it. It is what it is. It's definitely not the perfect system. And again, this is coming from a person who thinks they should both be in prison for life. I have said that from the beginning. I have never altered from that. What either of them did is not acceptable. I am not saying that he needs justice because he's innocent and he didn't kill anybody. And no, he did. They both did. They should both, black and white, if you commit premeditated murder, you should be in prison for life. That would solve a whole lot of problems here now, wouldn't it? But because people want to throw things into account and give gray areas, they've got to give gray areas for everybody. And it's everybody's right to have a fair trial. This was not fair. What is the number one thing? The judge let her perjure herself. She, in the same little area, and I will show it tomorrow, she literally perjured herself. And nobody called it out. They just let it go. So that right there shows that there was a bias. Is it really a far-fetched to think that it was an election year? I mean, come on, there ain't nobody going against anybody for that. We're gonna wipe this away. We're gonna make it easy. We're gonna make it clean. I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me. We're gonna get this done with as little mess as possible because we all want to be reelected. We like our jobs. We like our money. Tell me how you think that that's so far-fetched when it happens every single day. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. It happens, unfortunately.
And I also want to show you guys the seals that are on.
Yeah, everything we have has the seals, has the stamps.
Documents sealed from the Circuit Court of Greene County, Missouri. So there you have it.
We have the same paperwork as her, the same stuff. We read the same stuff yesterday. So just be careful saying that people are altering.
Yeah, that's a defamation lawsuit because you're actually saying we're committing a crime. Hold on 1 second.
What's up? Sorry, guys, my contacts are way out of whack today. I do not know what's happening. I can't see a darn thing. All right, I'm going to try and read this the best I can for you today because, well, we're going to go through today the incident report. Hold on, let me find the first page because I printed it out, but I will show you both here and on the computer. I just printed it out because Jackie is in and out, guys. She's in and out of the chat. I got Hollow Mom and Magda in here modding as well, if you guys need something. Yeah, it was in the same FOIA request. It was in the same records request. It's just the incident report, the one with all the videos on it.
Good news.
What?
The person who was doxing me yesterday on that YouTube live,
Right?
they have an ID for that person.
Ah! That's wild. That is so wild. You know, that's another thing that I can't handle. You don't have to like what people are saying. You want to talk about it? You want to talk about me? Go ahead. I couldn't care any less. But to sit there and dox people in chats of lives is wild. It's just absolutely wild. You don't have to like what we're saying. Don't watch it. You want to watch it so you can, you know, make a response. Go right ahead. But just, dude, be civil, man. Be civil. What are you drinking?
Alani,
Oh,
I don't drink beer.
no, it wasn't. That's
I'm
not
just
what I
joking. I'm just joking. I do.
That's not what I thought it was.
Oh, ha!
Like, no, she didn't.
My name is not Anna, and I think she likes them full.
All right, let's go.
And that's coming from a pretty girl.
We're going to read, right, Jack? We're going to read the incident report.
Watermelon.
The one with the videos on it, guys. I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully you don't have to take over because I see you're wearing glasses because my eyes are all messed up and I will do the best I can.
Okay, where are you looking at?
The incident report. The one from the sheriff's office. The one with
What
the
page are
videos.
you starting at?
I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm not going to skip nothing. I'm going to skip the ones that say video don't play. These are videos that don't play, but I'm going to start right from the beginning. You play. If anyone feels like I've altered or redacted something, please feel free to raise your hand or whatever, because... All right, there's a witness list. There's all of that. I'm not going to go through the witness list. There's evidence. I'm not going to go through the evidence. All right, I'm going to start with the narrative so everyone knows where I am. A thumb drive labeled as USB 27998 files from the computer was reviewed. This thumb drive contained all of the electronics.
What page is this?
12 of 27, because the rest was all just evidence listed, witnesses listed, and we don't need any of that. It's right where the narrative starts. It says narrative.
I don't think I'm on the right thing.
The one with the, this one.
Oh. I don't think that's what I have.
I have it twice. It's in it's in the middle of the email. The middle download.
Oh, okay. So that's not, I don't have it on here. Hold on one second.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm at this. How are you? I could barely read the messages. The chat.
What's funny is it's easier for me to read the chat than to read the... I think it's because, remember that blue thing that I was telling you about?
Yeah, so that's why I'm afraid to put on my glasses. So I'm struggling with these dry contacts, but...
Okay, I just sent it to this. So that's the Greene County report, right?
Yes, the incident report.
Okay.
When you start the narrative, go underneath the witnesses and the...
You said page 21, right?
What, 12 of 27.
Uh-huh. Okay.
All right. A thumb drive labeled as USB 27998 files from the computer was reviewed. This thumb drive contained all of the electronics, computers, laptops, thumb drives, and USBs downloaded from Springfield Police Department Officer Michael Costello. These above items were collected from Nicholas GODEJOHN'S residence pursuant to a search warrant. This is all from Nicholas's house. There are also videos of Gypsy found on the USB, which she sent to Nicholas. They were reviewed as well. Hold on. The following of files and videos are reviewed, and it is not intended as a transcript or exact text of the files, but a description. Skype chat message. All right, we're not going to go there. Google searches. We're not going to go there. Doesn't say any indication of conversation. Google search done. This is before the unaliving happened, guys. This was a Google search that Nick did on his computer. He's searching for tape. He's searching for her address, 2103 West Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri. He's searching for ruffled wrist cuffs. He's searching for Greyhound change date on ticket. He's searching for BHN taxi fare, Springfield, Missouri flower service, and Greyhound bus, Milwaukee. Firefox web history shows searches for several pornographic websites, marriage laws in Missouri, wedding officiants, apartments living in Springfield, Missouri, Section 8 housing in Springfield, Missouri, extreme restraints, and looking up routes from Wisconsin to Missouri. Facebook chat showed a confirmation email from Greyhound Bus giving Nicholas his reference number. Classified URLs showed searches for handcuffs, mouthwash, bondage tape to include the ankle, wrist, black bondage PVC tape that does not pull hair, and mouthball gag harness restraint. Chrome web visits showed searches for Taxi Finder cost and rates, Big Bend, Wisconsin, Greyhound Bus, Days Inn in Springfield, Missouri, Domino's Pizza, Taxi Finder fare rates from Days Inn in Kentwood, Springfield, Missouri, 2103 West Volunteer Way again, and Papa John's Pizza. Chrome 360 Safe browser showed searches for several different types of bullets from Bass Pro, Walmart search for SOG 15.3 jungle knife, Greyhound bus baggage information, Big Bend, Wisconsin, moving tips, moving out of state checklist, what you need when moving out of state, several delete this entire conversation titles, Greyhound mobile, Springfield, Missouri taxi, KY3, KSPR news, USPS location search, Papa John's Pizza, and Ozarks Today. Now, these next searches are done after.
Okay.
After. Whether it's on from his house computer or on his phone, I don't know. Chrome web visits showed searches for mother, daughter missing, considered endangered, KY3. Springfield, mother found dead, daughter still missing, and Ozarks first. Chrome showed two different dates of search for Ozarks first with KOLR 10, KY3, and Facebook. Chrome web history showed searches for Ozarks first with KOLR 10, KY3, and again Facebook. There are videos which are the exact same but are labeled different titles. Nicholas did not talk about the unaliving or any plans for him to commit the unaliving in the videos. Most all of the videos were Nicholas talking about his relationship with Gypsy and sensual experiences they were going to have. Nicholas mostly rambles on in the videos and does not talk a whole lot about anything but the two's relationship. Nicholas appeared to be talking and acting normal in most of the videos. There are some videos where he would change his voice and act as if he were another person. Hold on, my eyes. Another person. The following few videos are mostly the kind of things Nicholas would talk about in the other videos. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The following few videos content is written out to give an example of what the rest of the videos are similar to. This was done to save time for someone else to not have to watch several hours of video. The rest of the videos I watched and were indicated as nothing pertaining to the homicide, same video as above. So again, some of them are just saying they didn't open, some of them are saying they're the same video, so they didn't have to give a listing of ones that didn't pertain to anything happening. Video labeled 000002 is over 13 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas is talking to Gypsy's other alternate made-up personality. He talks about having intercourse with Gypsy and his rough side toward her when they have intercourse. He talked about how he was Gypsy's master and how each personality needed to wear certain types of clothing during intercourse. He talked about how hard it would be for Gypsy to please him, and she needed not to disappoint him. He talked about how she needed to make some videos for him. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Video labeled all the zeros and a 6 is over 6 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas is playing with himself and shows his penis to the camera on the device he is recording from. He talked about how he did research on how to get your penis to be full size. He said according to a website he went to.
I don't think you can say that word. Just say stick. I think you can say stick. Just say stick.
Website he went to, you could tell that I'm a nurse because that word doesn't mean anything to me. It's like, all right. He talked about how he did research on how to get your stick to be full size. He said according to the website he went to, it indicated if you drink a lot of soda with sugar and caffeine, your stick would be fully erect the following day. During the video, he continues to try to make his stick erect while he was talking to Gypsy about the method. He said this was his second attempt at showing his stick fully erect to her, but he does not accomplish this. He talked about how he was not happy with the length of his stick. Video labeled number 7 is over 18 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas is talking about how they have been together for over a year. He talked about how most relationships do not last because of the distance between them. He talked about how they have been through rough times and yet their bond grows stronger even through the hard times. He talked about how he fought for all of his ex-girlfriends and none of them fought for him. He thanked Gypsy for trusting in him and how she would not go behind his back. She talked about a ring he wore to remind him of her. He said when he goes to the library and observes an attractive woman, he would look down at the ring and be reminded of her. He went on to talk about how he was a faithful person and how he did not have to worry about her being unfaithful either. Video number 8 is over 12 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas awakes from sleeping and started talking on the computer to Gypsy. He talked about what he was wearing in bed, which was a t-shirt and plaid boxers. He messes with the computers, focusing it on his crotch area. He then removed his stick from his underwear, showed it in a limp state, and talked about how he actually been up for a while, and this is why his stick is no longer fully erect. He showed off his bracelet he was wearing and his necklace. Most of the video was about him wanting to get fully erect to show Gypsy. Are you guys seeing a little bit of a pattern here? Because I'm seeing a pattern.
You know, sticks don't get up there.
Not this stick. He's got soft sticks.
Well, around, I don't think it was an attraction thing to her. I don't think it was a physical attraction thing, and I think that is something really worth noting.
Video labeled 9 is over 4 minutes long. In his video, Nicholas talked about how it was 4 o'clock in the morning and he was making a good night video to Gypsy. Video labeled 10 is over 18 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas is addressing Gypsy and how her body may be broken physically, but not spiritually. He talked about how Gypsy deserved him and his love to her. He told her he only wanted 3 things from her: that, affection, and her staying true to him. He talked about how they adored each other to the point the other person would even unalive someone for them. Video labeled 3813 is over 21 minutes long. In this video, Nicholas talked about how he could see into the future and wanted to warn Gypsy that he would not be at home, but he would be at his grandmother's house. He talked about Ash Wednesday, and during this time, he would be very busy doing his fish fries. He talked about how he was going to make a trip to where Gypsy was to see her, but he did not go into detail about why or for what reason he was going to visit her. He talked about how he could make a lot of money by playing fantasy sports. He talked about the Disney movie Up and how it reminded him of her. He talked about an account of some sort where she had money possibly saved up, but never said how much or what type of account or bank. I think it's wild these people have money. They got bank accounts. They got 10 grand sitting in a wild. The next video was the same as above, same as above, same as above. A message from your King Nick and Master Victor about second trial. Yeah, he does. He did sound so young most of the time. Nicholas talked about his court appearance in Wisconsin and how he had set up a payment plan to pay his fine.
What did your comment say?
Huh?
What was the comment that she just read?
He sounded so young most of the time. But he was on he was on a child's level.
Yeah.
Nicholas talked about his court appearance in Wisconsin and how he had set up a payment plan to pay his fine. He talked about how he was consistent with everything he does and the fine will get paid because the alternative would be spending 4 days in jail. He talked about the date 11/11/2013 being his court date, which was the same day he made the video. He talked about how he was testing the media when they interviewed him about his case and how they lied about what he said. Later in the video, Nicholas changes his voice and told Gypsy her master Victor was now the one talking to her. Nicholas, aka Victor, talked about the court fines again.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
Because I do remember earlier that screen recording of Bree saying, when it comes to BDSM, there's no switches.
Right.
Like whatever, if you're playing a dominant, you're just a dominant. If you're playing a submissive, you're just a submissive. And I think having some insight on that, and specifically this Demona character, because again, this is a character that she has been playing. Demona likes humiliation. So she's controlling the narrative while at the same time appearing to be submissive, but not.
Topping from the bottom, yeah.
Right. It's called topping from the bottom. And you can look that up. I'll actually look it up to clarify this, just because I know that some people think that they understand what's going on, but they really don't, because they haven't done their research, and they are only really good at fast talking people. And you know, if your name is somebody with the facts, I would think you would come with the facts, but okay. All right, so this is from a website called Dom Subliving. Topping from the bottom. What does topping from the bottom mean? Topping from the bottom means ever since 50 Shades of Grey. So I don't know if this would be something I would qualify as a legitimate site.
I have the stuff that I looked up because I actually did research on it, which was...
I can't remember the site it was that it was pulled from.
Yeah, I have it written down somewhere. Give me a little bit and I will grab it, because it was an actual psychology, it was like Psychology Today or something like that did the explanation of what it was, the dangers of it, blah, 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 you know, the whole thing.
Okay, I actually think... So, but essentially it's basically, you may be the dominant person, but you're still relinquishing power to this person.
So when you're topping from the bottom, if you do a flip on them. They think they're dominant, you're the submissive, but what actually happens is you turn around and you surprise them. There's a trust thing there. It's actually a break of trust, they described it as. And what happens is
that you're doing it wrong, really.
You turn around and you're actually the submissive. You're the dominant one, letting them think for the longest time that they are in fact the dominant one, and then you flip, but it's already begun. You can't change it, and so you become the dominant one, and you let them know. You know what I mean? So it's called a mind fuck. They go into this trust thing.
Yes, it's a manipulation tactic.
Yes,
right.
It absolutely is a manipulation.
And that's essentially what Gypsy
also a form of
doing.
abuse. When I read the psychology,
Right.
it's a big abuse. Yeah.
Because it says when you look it up that if you're doing that, you're doing BDSM all wrong.
Right.
But that is part of this Demona character. And I think it's very important to incorporate this Demona character simply because she bought a wig like Demona. She dressed like Demona. She called herself Demona. And if a duck walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, what is it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I think it's very important to see that in that context, simply because this is the character that she's playing, but but she's also within this character, she's taking on this dominant submissive role, but she's relinquishing the power and then switching. That's why it's called a switch.
Yeah.
And like they said, yeah, it's a manipulation
All up in their head because they're believing to be one thing, and you totally reverse roles on them, and it's like, whoa, you don't know what to do and how to react in that situation.
Right, and I also think what's worth noting as well is the fact that I believe it was Dr. Wasserman in that report that did say that Nick was not capable of coming up with a storyline like that due to his autism.
We do have that somewhere. I'll go back and we'll read that.
Yes,
because I don't want
like he was very clear in that.
Without, that's just the gist of it. We'll go back and read that whole thing so there's no
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for them to understand this through the lens of that context, because I think when you're reading through this document, if you really don't understand Demona, the switch from bottom to top, or topping from the bottom, you kind of get lost in the actual context of
1 minute
how it
he's the
plays out.
slave, 1 minute she's the slave, and you just don't understand the relationship there. But once you understand, once we just explain to you what happened, and usually when you play one role, like when you're either dominant or submissive, you don't change up. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Normally there's one trait that you're either dominant or submissive. And generally speaking, based off of what I've read, is that a lot of people that are like dominant in their workforce, like if they have a very dominant job, they tend to be submissive in their personal life because they're always dominating at work, right? So it's like they want to take more of a laid back approach, or someone that they have a more submissive role at work or in their everyday life, whatever they do, they tend to take the more masculine role on. And I want you guys to take that in context of Gypsy and her mom, right? Her mom was the mother, she was the daughter. So of course the child is more of a submissive role, right? And the mom is more of a dominant role because the mom is there to instruct you, right? So this flip is on brand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want that to be put in context as well.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Right. All right, where was I? Now that I've got my glasses on finally.
While you're looking at this, I'm going to look at this report,
Okay.
like scan through it.
All right. A must brought up topic is the name of this video. Nicholas talked about how Gypsy was worried he only wanted to have relations with her when he was with her. During the video, he told Gypsy if he would just submit to him, then his issue would be done and over with, and Nicholas snapped his fingers. He talked mostly about her giving in and backing down to him. He said he would not back down from her, and she needed to back down from him. So again, he's trying to be the dominant one here. And I agree with that, he is. Nothing pertaining. Expressing more feeling, Nicholas told Gypsy he was upset with her because she had compared him to a serial unaliver. He said he had too much of an innocent personality to do that. He talked about how he was hurt and how she hurt him by saying that. He talked about a spell he wanted her to do so they would be bound together forever. He talked about the eyes being the window of the soul, but the ears were the road to his soul. He said he never had a mother or father because they were working all the time and they did not spend enough time with him. Do me a favor, you want to mute Nina just because of the static? Thank you. He said Gypsy was like a mother to him. Because of this, he had
Note that, like, that's something to put a pin in and note, because that should also, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just want to make sure that there is like we kind of tie it all together. Remember, he was having a hard time getting that stick up, right? Now, the fact that he's seen her like a mother, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, obviously he was lacking, first of all, in his own familial relationship with his parents. He had a lot of lacking there. He had a lot of issues going on, and he was looking to fill that void. And so that's what he found in Gypsy. He said Gypsy was like a mother to him. Because of this, he had to grow up early. He was a family man with rare characteristics. He said she did not need to compare him to Charles Manson because he did research on him. He then yells at her not to ever compare him to Charles Manson. He told Gypsy she did not need to fear his Dark One coming out and unaliving her or doing anything to harm her. The Dark One might do sensual things to her, but he would not harm her. He said she had two protectors inside of him to keep her safe. Forgotten sensual instructions from your master Victor. Nicholas is talking in a deeper voice and told Gypsy and her other character Demona they had something expensive they needed to wear when they made their video to him. He said they needed to do this so they would not disappoint him, and they would get more videos from him back. He said Demona was built to handle some very sensual things. He wanted Gypsy to wear white and red lingerie. He wanted Demona, however, to wear red and black lingerie because they were the vampire colors. He said him, Victor, and Nicholas would be pleased. He said he would be able to dominate her to the point she would be scared and it would be easy. He told her intimacy with her master would be pleasure and pain. From the hurt inside, another video. Nicholas talked about before Gypsy came into his life, he was afraid he would never find true love. He talked about how he was going to the BDSM website and order a chained up slave. He said he was getting hopeless and trying to find true love until she came into his life. He said the Lord brought her into his life before he got to that point. Gypsy special birthday video. Nicholas is telling Gypsy happy birthday in the video. Then around 4 minutes 31 seconds into the video, he closes his eyes and Master Victor is now the one talking. Victor told her happy birthday and told her to give him feedback on the video. Nicholas then started talking in his normal voice and also as Victor as if they were both talking to her. Chaos Coordinator, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I can't honestly answer that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. Chaos just asked if he was sensually abused, S.A.'d. And I have nothing.
You know, they never said that specifically. And
I'm not gonna say this as like a feeling, you know, trying to make up an excuse for him because I'm not at all. However, he did live in a house with one. His mother was with one of those. However, there's nothing that I have no proof that he was ever.
Yeah, we have no proof of that. And based off of what I've read, it doesn't seem. I don't know that to be.
Yeah, I don't think he was. Nicholas introduces himself to Gypsy as her master, Victor. He talked about how she was a reliable slave to him and thanked her for loyalty. Victor then said he was now going to let Nicholas talk to her about something important. He said she should not expect presents from him, and all that should matter is time to her. He continued to talk about her being spoiled with his time and not gifts. He said he felt pressured to talk to her because she did not respond to his video about time and presents. Letter confirmation and other topics by your King Nick. Nicholas told Gypsy he had another alter personality who he learned over the weekend was called Chenier, and Chenier was due to come out anytime. Master Victor's message. Nicholas is talking as Victor. He talked about how there are different kinds of vampires in the world. He talked about how the sun gave some vampires their power, and these vampires do not need blood. He said there was human-type vampires who were friendly towards others. There was a vampire who get their power from the moon, and they don't need to hunt, but they don't like the sun. He said it's a breed that does not drink blood, they eat regular food, and they hate all other vampires. Master bonus video with Nick at ending. Nicholas is talking as Victor, and he told Gypsy she will give a hex spell to someone as he commands. He is very firm and authoritative about this. He told her she will do what he said. He talked about how he could break her spell and that was not joking around about it. He gives her several firm warnings telling her she will do what he said. He talked about it as if she did not do what she said. If she did not do what he said, he would make her put a hex spell on a female so he could grape her and even have a gangbang with this female. He said this does not mean he would unalive her, but he would break her spirit forever. He said if he observed someone as sensual, he would need to put a hex spell on this female so he could grape her. During the duration of the video, he continued to command her to do whatever he told her to do. So again, we're not sitting there acting like Nick is some innocent, Nick didn't do anything by any means. We're reading it word for word. But in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, and I'll mention it later when it happens, you can kind of see the roles reversed. I'm just saying. But to continue, Nicholas, Master's White Collar Response is the title. Nicholas is talking as Victor in this video. He said Gypsy would earn her white collar when they are in person. He mainly reprimands her in this video for not saying goodnight the proper way. He also talked about what she needed to expect sensually when they are together. Must listen to Message from Your King Nick was the title. Nicholas talked about how the Dark One was going to more than likely come out sometime during the evening. He said he knew this because of the songs in his head. Nothing pertaining to homicide, nothing pertaining, same videos above. Shanir's introduction to Demona and Gypsy title. The screen is dark and Nicholas is talking with a different voice, portraying to be whom he called Shanir. Nicholas is very hard to understand in this video because of the way he talked. He called Gypsy by name and then called out to Demona as well. He talked about how he could see everything behind the scenes and he knows everything that goes on. He told Gypsy she better obey him or he would hurt her, as if she messed up. He would make her life a living hell. He said she had no heart and he had no care in the world. He told her she would do whatever he told her to do when they are together in person. Shanir's next message to Demona and Gypsy. The screen is dark and Nicholas is talking with a different voice, portraying to be the one he called Shanir. He said he would not reveal his identity to her, even though she requested him to. He mostly talked about how he could make her sad and happy, and she needed to listen to him and obey him. He told Gypsy she was playing with fire and she thought Demona would help her get out of the situation if she was wrong. He addressed Demona as being his partner in crime, but he did not elaborate on this. He talked about being able to sense things from other people's souls and seeing through their souls. He said he knows her master Victor has something planned for them. He said they needed to obey him and they had no other choice but to obey him. He could hurt other people and do evil. For him, this would prove her love to him and show they are interested in him. He said he would prefer to grape her versus having normal intercourse with her. He said if she was willing to help him kill or unalive someone and let him grape her, he would not hurt her. Talking to my mistress and my true love with Master Victor. Title. Nicholas is talking at first, then he introduced Victor, who then spoke. He talked about how he did not want Gypsy to mention something on Facebook. He did not say what it was they were not supposed to talk about. Nicholas came back and said he did not know what Victor just told them, but thought he heard something about a video. Victor's farewell video to Gypsy. Nicholas is talking as Victor is in this video and addresses it to Gypsy. He talked about having a new slave and being a vampire who could do sensual paralysis on someone. He talked about a video Gypsy made for him and how she gave up her ownership to him. There was ownership papers found on Nicholas's computer. He talked about a journey. Wait, hold on. I got to reread that. I'm sorry. He talked about a video Gypsy made for him and how she gave up her ownership to him. There was ownership papers found on Nicholas's computer. He talked about a journey or a trip he would have to take, and Gypsy would have to make sure she did her part to help Demona. He said he was looking for an opportunity to strike. He did not elaborate about the journey. He mostly talked about how he had plenty of slaves in the past, and she, Gypsy, was not fully trained yet. He said she would be overwhelmed by Nicholas when they meet in person. He talked about the different characters they had and when they all meet each other. He talked about how he was not afraid to manipulate anyone.
Quick question.
He talked about how she should have respectful fear of him.
At no point did Allie I didn't see where she said that he had, like, this was the things that were going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
Had you seen that?
I read over that briefly. I haven't gotten to that part yet, though.
Okay.
But we can.
Okay.
He talked about how she should have a respectful fear for him. Words of wisdom from your master, Victor. Nicholas is talking as Victor in this video and addresses it to Gypsy. He said as soon as Gypsy is his property, all the back talking between her and Nicholas would need to stop. He blamed Gypsy for starting the arguments between them, and he wanted to give her some words of warning. He warned her it was not a good idea to do this because he could do whatever he wanted to her. He talked about Gypsy signing the paper. She would be his, and everything she owned is his. He would be her official master at that point. He told her she needed to do a response video, and if it were more than 10 minutes long, he would be mad. And if it was less than 5 minutes, she would be in trouble. If she were to make his life difficult, then he would make her life hell. He gave her 5 minutes to follow, to keep her master content. Think selflessly, worship, obey, honesty, and trust him. He said she should listen to him because he, Victor, was aware of them doing some bad things in the future to get back at a couple of people. He said he would not name who they were since he, Victor, was aware of who they were as much as Nicholas and Gypsy were. Hold on, I think I have a little... Oh, it's not pulling up my puzzle piece. Uh-oh. I might have to come down. Wait, nope. This puzzle piece is not appearing. It's saying that an error occurred and it's going to end my live in 3 minutes. I can't hear you. I'm gonna come back.
Drop down and just come back. All right. Wait, okay, someone's saying all of the time with autism, people can repeat things and not necessarily contextually be aware of it. So that was pretty much what his doctor was, Dr. Wasserman was saying, is that they were basically saying the disorder characterized by repetition, being repetitive, and characteristics of patterns and behaviors. So, considering you just said, oh shoot,
How are you? Hi. How are you, sister? Please, one bottle, please.
what is?
Me, I'm from Syria. I need the help for it for my family. Please, one. Please.
No.
One, please. Please. Please, sister. I need the gift money for it for my family. Please, one.
Like, why is this dude trying to? He's hit the button so fast I can't even get off.
Please,
Yo,
one.
this is.
Last bottle, please. I need the help.
I can't be grifting on here.
Please, sister.
My name is
one.
not Nana.
Please, last one.
Be
Please.
grifting though. I can't be on here grifting, Bookie. Damn, you won't even get. You're such a.
Please, one. Please.
You're annoying.
Please, sister. I need the help for it.
Man.
And so,
Girl, do you know that I just accidentally got myself in some doggone
where'd you end up?
girl, let me tell you what just happened. Tell me why I was looking to add you as a host, girl, and I'm looking for you, and then all of a sudden I added, and this dude is like, please battle me, please, and then every time I'm trying to hit the end, he hits the button so fast that I can't, kind of like forcing me to battle him. And I'm like, no, I'm not grifting on the internet. And he's like,
so
still.
funny.
And I'm telling you, as soon as I would hit decline, he'd hit it so fast to where if I tried to get him off the screen, it wouldn't even allow it to pop up. And I felt bamboozled.
So you were kidnapped on TikTok.
Yes, I felt so bamboozled.
That's wild.
He said, yeah, he was like, sister, can you give, he did say that he could call me sister, which was so funny. Like, the whole thing was just crazy. I felt trapped.
I was wondering where you were. I'm like, where'd you go?
I'm like, help me, please help me.
That is so funny. It was Rusty's friends, they're saying.
Basically, for sure. Hold on 1 second, because I also remember Morbid sent me another Foya, I believe. So let me see what that is.
Okay. You took a snack reload break and missed that. I know. Where's my husband? I need a snack too. My eyes are so like, they're so irritated. They're like burning right now. And I got tears running down my eyes. I'm surprised I don't look like that video animated Jackie with the mascara running down her face, because that's what I feel like right now. Yeah, now you can all tap because, well, I'm at 4,000. Honestly, Kayla, it was a nicer day here, and so definitely could be the allergies starting up. So yeah, definitely could be, but I was not expecting it today. Look at my eyes; they're so swollen, and it's like, ooh, they're like burning hot. It's almost like I want to ice them down, and whew.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah, I like funny.
These exact documents are the documents that Morbid sent me last week.
That's so funny.
And he sent it to me at night, and I dozed off and forgot that I had it. And didn't realize it was the same documents.
So you have a separate version than I have. I mean,
Through text, like the same thing.
So
All
yeah,
three. Yes.
Yep. All right. Just making sure. This way we can pull them up and everyone has the same thing. Nobody's altering documents. So please be careful when you accuse people of altering documents.
Be careful. You know what you're doing. You're trying to fast talk people. You won't even really read the documents. Like you try to paraphrase, but you don't paraphrase what the doctor says, and then you put your own spin on it like you have a PhD. Like it just don't make no sense.
Listen, I'm literally reading every word. Nothing's being added, nothing's being redacted, with the exception of sexual is sensual, because I'm not trying to get booted from here. But other than that, stuff like that, nothing's been taken away. I've been reading word for word. And I will show you all. Actually, I should just do this when I'm finished with the page. And you could see it if I hold it closer. But, so yeah, all right, let me get on with here, because we got a couple more of these to go, and I can still see, so I will take some Claritin after here so I can knock out. Nicholas talking as Victor in his video and addresses it to Gypsy. He said as soon as Gypsy is his property, oh, did I read that already?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Your master, Victor's commands and sensual instructions. Nicholas is talking as Victor in this video and addresses it to Gypsy. He said Gypsy had to make a sensual video for Nicholas and gave her some instructions. He said he wanted her to respond to how she felt about Nicholas having backdoor sex and front door sex. He asked her to respond to how she felt about being restricted, bound, and him taking her virginity. He talked about how the...
Oh, damn. That sucks because he didn't know that she was already out there. Damn.
He talked about how the vagina could stretch out to 9 inches.
No, you can't say that word. You just got to say the cat.
Isn't that anatomically correct, though?
I don't think you can say that on here.
All right, so the vagina...
Just say meow.
The kitty. Guys, I'm a nurse, man. I use everything by the book, and to sit there, I got a kitty and stick and all of the words. I'm just like, I am just not the person for this, because then if I start saying kitty and all that stuff, I'm going to go into a rant of roasting. So I'm trying to be. He talked about how the kitty could... Oh, if my mother could see me now. My daughter's online talking about kitty and stick. He talked about how I'm not going to read that sentence again. How it could stretch out to 9 inches. 9 inches. This is 9 inches.
Well, let's consider something really quick.
That is 9 inches.
Homegirl was using. She was doing everything with a toothbrush, brushing her teeth. Remember that?
It would go in this way, dude. Like, not Arizona tea can that way, but like this way. Like, that beats Nana, man. I'm just saying. We got a winner. Sorry. All right. And he wanted to make sure she was okay with it. If he was able to make his stick 9 inches in length, he wanted Gypsy to grape him and told her he is turned on by it. Nicholas wanted Gypsy to tell him how she felt about him graping her. The following are videos this investigator thought were of significance from Gypsy to Nicholas, which were located on Nicholas's computer. The following are the files and videos I reviewed, and it is not intended as an exact text of the files and videos. Gypsy is outside on her deck in her wheelchair and is recording the backyard with her cell phone. She was pointing to several areas close to her house and said these areas were good spots. She does not elaborate on what she meant by good spots. We all saw that video. That was the one MPG showed. Remember when she was in the wheelchair?
Yes, that's crazy.
It's that one. It's that one. So,
That's crazy.
so that was the video they were referencing.
That's when she was trying to take the 9-incher, the alleged 9-incher.
He said wide. That's this way.
I didn't catch that. Oh my god.
That's why I'm like, he's saying wide, man. Like that's that way, not that way. That's length, width. So that's why I was like, it's bigger than my head. Like, I don't even know what to say. But all right, Gypsy. The next one is video 280. Gypsy is showing Nicholas several baby items.
Not while I'm eating nuts.
This Gypsy is showing Nicholas several baby items she has collected and put in plastic containers. She said Demona got all the baby items and she, Gypsy, did not have to get them. She even thanked Demona for getting the baby items. She said now all she needs is a baby. That was Gypsy that said now all she needs is a baby. So now she has been collecting baby items for this baby, for a baby, since around this time, 2013, 2015 area, no exact time noted, but she literally had it stored in plastic containers.
And no, she even got good out the jail.
That Demona was helping her get because Demona wanted her to have a baby, right? She wanted a baby. Tell me how she had plastic containers in her house of baby items that Dee didn't know and wasn't concerned about all this stuff going on. Think about it. At this point in time, Dee's still alive when these videos are being made and whatnot, right? You mean to tell me Dee didn't know any of this was going on? There wasn't baby clothes. Like, why do you have baby clothes everywhere? You're stealing baby clothes. Like, that is just my opinion. That is just my just saying. That is my just saying. So, Gypsy is showing the baby. All right, 282. Gypsy is showing some black and pink lacy underwear she said she would be wearing for Nicholas when they meet again in June. Now, again, I don't know when these were taken, but apparently June has already been planned. Gypsy is apologizing to Nicholas because of how she acted the day before. She said she would try to be a better person in the future and she would never leave him. But now remember, in the videos that I read about yesterday, in the other court documents, you heard that they had broken up, remember? And then that's why he wanted to unalive himself. Like, remember, all of this is all going on in the same situation, in the same time area.
Oh, right, because she had said if he didn't do what she wanted, she would not be in contact with him for a week. And that was around the time he thought she broke up with him. So that's to show you the power struggle where it's like, it came across like Nicholas was one with the power, but she was the one punishing him. That was like topping from the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's like the manipulation and the misuse of trust. And like I said, like I think it's in page 102, Dr. Wasserman, it was explaining how like it's all about repetition, and like it's learned for them. Like they have to, it's structured, right? And that kind of makes sense when it comes in terms to this. So it's kind of like, it's interesting when you hear what the doctor has to say.
Yeah. Being owned by Master, this one has a title, number 264.
He wants a baby so bad so she can offer that baby up.
Gypsy said she was making this video with the command of Master Victor. She talked about Victor being the ruler of everything and how he was in charge of everything and every part of her. She said he took care of her, and if he asked her to do something, she would do it. She said Victor's words overruled Nicholas's words, and she had to obey him. Gypsy then changed her wig and her outfit and called herself Demona and told Nicholas she was commanded to do this video by Victor. She then gets undressed and told Nicholas that Victor owned all of her, including her body. Demona Part 1. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona and said she would do anything Nicholas said for her to do. Demona Part 2. This is a continuation from video titled Demona Part 1. She continued to talk about how she pledged her life and love to him. Demona Part 3. Gypsy is portraying to be Demona and talked about how she, Demona, was the reason for the breakup between she and Nicholas. She talked about how she was going to unalive herself because she caused them to break up. So now Nicholas and Gypsy broke up because of Demona. Demona to Sir Black One, number 264. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona, and she told Nicholas she was making this video because he commanded her to do so. She talked about how she was a slut and she could hurt someone, but she could not physically harm her mother or Nicholas. She said if Sir Black One wanted
Hold
to
on 1 second. People are asking who's Demona. Demona is a character that she played. Remember the one with the red and the black wig on? That's Demona. Demona is the one character that Gypsy could always describe. Okay, so Demona is from Demona and Gargoyle. What you don't know is even though that is a Disney character,
the root of that character
was very
goes
evil.
with-
She was all about unaliving people. Gargoyle stands for neck in French. I think that is worth noting. Demona also is all about branding. Okay, so and manipulation and like literally unaliving people. So that's her character.
I actually just found, remember I told you I couldn't find it, but I had printed out that description of Demona. I found it, so I can go into that afterwards. Oh, I can't hear you. All right. So where are we?
Oh, good night, Sophia.
Gypsy introduces herself as Demona, and she told Nicholas she was making this video because he commanded her to do so. She talked about how she was a slut and she could hurt someone, but she could not physically harm her mother or Nicholas. She said if Sir Black One wanted to beat her for not wanting to hurt them, then he could beat her physically. She said she was very good at stealing, and this was her specialty. She went on to explain how and why she was good at stealing. She talked about how she could make money, and she promised Nicholas she would do this for him, even if it meant her sleeping with strangers for money. She said she would grape Nicholas by tying him up, and they would be great partners in crime. Now remember, I read that yesterday in the other court documents. It went into more detail there.
Just that reference where she was saying she would beat men over the head.
Yeah,
had to
yeah, she
move
said that she would sleep with them for money.
This
and
is a correlation with that.
Demona's anniversary video. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona. She talked about being in love with him and how she wanted them to live together far away from other people. She talked about having children with Nicholas. She said they would have to teach and educate their children what not to say in public to keep him being a vampire, a secret. If they had a girl, then their daughter had to lose her virginity to Nicholas because he would be the master of the household. She said when she turned 13, she would explain this to their daughter and why she had to give her virginity to Nicholas. She talked about how she was Nicholas's slave and he could have her anytime he wanted. Demona sorry to her master, number 264. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona. She talked about how she had done something bad and she had disappointed Nicholas. She said she was very sorry for disappointing him because of a profile she had made on the computer. She told him she was afraid of disappointing him and she knew this was wrong. Throughout the video, she begged for forgiveness. She talked about how sorry she was and how she was a submissive slave to him. Now, remember when I spoke about Dan yesterday? And Dan said she was constantly making new accounts and messaging him. That's what I think she was caught doing. I think that she was caught messaging because it's, you know what I mean? Because it's the same scenario where she was mad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that again would make sense as to why Nick said he would say sorry to everyone but Dan. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Gypsy's Big Test Part 2. There was no Part 1. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any. Sorry to master. Video would not play. Video would not play. Not play. Gypsy's Big Test Part 2, number 264. In this video, Gypsy is recording herself to Nicholas as he had commanded. She had a list of commands from Nicholas to sit and stand in front of positions, in different positions, as well as take some of her clothes off. He commanded her to bow, kiss the floor, and to remove the rest of her clothes. She is fully nude at this time. She is instructed to do a full 360 turn so the camera could catch every side of her body. She is commanded to get on her hands and knees. Throughout the rest of the video, she is commanded to pose for the camera in other explicit positions and to play with her parts. Gypsy's farewell video to Victor. Gypsy is talking as herself and is telling her master goodbye. She often wondered if she had pleased him or not. She talked about how she learned a lot from him and she was sad because it was like saying goodbye to a family member. She appeared to be sad and was crying in this video over saying goodbye to her master. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Victor's gone. Her master is gone. In this video, Gypsy is in a bathtub and said she was doing this video because she was commanded to do so. She rubbed several items of food all over her body and said she felt ashamed and humiliated. She begged her master to let her pass this test. In this video, Gypsy is in the bathtub and said she was doing this video to become Nicholas's slave. She rubbed several items of food all over her body and said she felt shamed and humiliated. She begged her master to let her pass this test. She said she was completely humiliated and hoped it was all worthwhile. She was visibly upset and crying. Gypsy's sorry message about Jackie. Gypsy told Nicholas she made a mistake and did not mean to go against his wishes. She received a message from Jackie's husband. She said she sent him a message 6 months prior, and then he responded back. She begged for Nicholas's forgiveness and apologized throughout the video. She was visibly upset and crying on the video. She begged Nicholas not to leave her and talked about how she was not perfect. She said she would obey him from now on, and she would not do or be anything he wanted. And she would do or be anything he wanted. Gypsy's video to my evil side. Gypsy introduces herself as Gypsy. She said she was making this video to Nicholas's evil side. She thanked him for what he was doing for her and both of them. She said she was sorry for not getting all the ingredients that are necessary. She did not get a taser because she thought they were going to do one plan, and then she changed the plan. She said she did not get a taser because she thought they were going to do one plan, and then she changed the plan. She asked Nicholas please to not hurt her. She said she did end up getting the jabber, tape, and handcuffs. She was not specific about what she was talking about. She said she would accept the punishment, whatever it was. I am so nicely, deeply sorry for letting you down, Master is the title. In this video, Gypsy is talking to Master Victor, Nicholas. She made a bad mistake because she was not observant. She said she was sorry for not ending a conversation on the computer in the correct way by putting an emoji symbol at the end, and this was why Nicholas was upset. She was punished by not hearing or talking to Nicholas. She talked about how much her life is disrupted when she cannot talk to Nicholas. She understood why he was punishing her, but she begged him to forgive her and let her talk to Nicholas. She was visibly upset and crying. In this video, Gypsy was apologizing to Nicholas for being a bad girlfriend and complaining. She was visibly upset and asked him to forgive her. I'm so sorry, my king. In this video, Gypsy again apologized to Nicholas for her not thinking clearly, being confused, and being stupid. She talked about a person who had feelings towards her, but she did not have feelings for him. She told Nicholas it was just a friendship feeling and nothing more. She talked about how she did not want to lose him. She had to explain herself to Nicholas and was visibly upset. So again, I feel like she obviously got caught talking to somebody else. Okay? And we know who that somebody else is. Or at least I believe I know who that somebody else is. I'm sorry, baby, part 1. Gypsy apologized to Nicholas for getting angry with him. She said Victor can be overwhelming at times and she loved him. This video was short. My response video. Gypsy said she was sorry to Nicholas because she was being a brat about showing her body to him. She was upset with Nicholas because he wanted to look at her whole body and then he would judge her body after he observed her naked. She said she did not want to do this because she was afraid he was going to post the pictures. She apologizes to Nicholas for not communicating properly. She said she would not backtalk toward him and he did have the right to spank her. She talked about Nicholas's dominant side and how she could adapt I'm sorry, she talked about Nicholas's dominant side and how she could adapt to his dominant side, and she would be good from now on. She said she was allowed to give her 15 spankings for her being disrespectful towards him. She was not crying in this video, but she was upset. Plea video. In this video, Gypsy was crying and telling Nicholas she was sorry for making so many mistakes. She was pleading for Victor to not take Nicholas away from her. She promised to do better. Gypsy then said she is now Demona and begged Victor not to let any of Gypsy's personalities lose Nicholas. All her plans in life included Nicholas, and she could not bear losing him. Ruby's introduction video to her perfect match. Oh, this is just saying that the report is in one of their binders. And that's it. That's all the video descriptions they have. So that right there was just a description of these videos that were found at Nicholas's house on a USB drive, or taken from a USB drive. What's that? No, well, something to drink. Yeah.
What was in the?
So yeah, that was it. That was that part of it. So again, no one's sitting here claiming Nicholas to be innocent. You know what I mean? But it's really important to see the relationship and how it goes back and forth, how they communicate. Because once you watch how they communicate, and you're not just taking little snippets from here and snippets from there, you get a whole lot more of what's going on in the situation. So nobody's comments are being filtered. Well, if it's filtering Crystal, it's not because of me. It is all public information. So, yeah. The problem is a lot of people haven't seen it. And there, believe it or not, there were a lot of videos that could not play. So there was a lot more videos in between there. They did say that there were hundreds of videos. Or over 100, I believe. But yeah, there was a lot more videos. Those are just the ones that they reported on. That's what I'm saying, Shell Bell. How is this girl, whose mother, who wasn't allowed to be on the computer, who was sneaking cell phones, right? Nobody knew nothing. I mean, you had time to sit and play in a tub with some food and get down and talk about your master. I mean, did you ever sleep then? She absolutely walked around. She absolutely knew she wasn't sick. Dee Dee absolutely knew that she knew. Okay, everything was going on. You mean to tell me Dee Dee knew that she was going through this whole thing with men, in my opinion. I really do believe that Dee Dee knew that Gypsy was just... her behavior sexually was dangerous. I'm going to say that. Dangerous towards herself. And so, yeah, I really do. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. That's so pretty. Thank you. Thank you. That was a whale. It was pretty. So, yeah. I just, I don't know what part you want me to go through now. Dangerously promiscuous. Thank you, Tina Lou. Yes.
I think the main thing would be really just going over kind of like what the doctor had to say, just to shed a little bit of light on that. But wait, you also said you have the Demona.
Oh, here we go.
No, I could have printed it out too. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I just printed it out that day just because I'm a person. I like to read my stuff and have it in front of me. Demona is a cunning and resourceful opponent, dangerous warrior, and a skilled sorceress. However, her anger and hatred have a tendency to interfere with her plans. This has fortunately resulted in Demona's efforts to destroy humanity all failing. So they were just telling about how she battles and how dangerous she is, and ultimately she wants to destroy humanity.
Bam Bam asks, did Gypsy give Nick and role playing character?
I don't know. I don't know if Nick adopted that character himself or if she gave it to him. I'm not sure. But I do know, however, that kind of character is weaker than a demon, like a demoness character. Because that's a whole wild rabbit hole, man. It's wild. Physiology, Demona holds an inherent physical abilities of a gargoyle, super strength, durability, gliding, prolonged youth, but that pales in comparison to her true strength. Sorcery, Demona was secretly tutored by, I don't even know who that is, becoming a capable and dangerous sorceress, which enables her to utilize almost any magical artifact that she can get her claws on. Now remember, magic and spells and hexes and all that stuff played a part in what she was doing with Victor. Remember, she was.
Oh, we're supporting a man that could take. No, he didn't offer to take it. Gypsy said she wanted to give it up. There was never. Like, you see how you flip that, Bree? Here's the thing with y'all. When Bree tends to have a lot of people in her chat, they play on words. And when you're dealing with a lot of unintelligent people, you can play on words because they don't really comprehend. You know, people that are dreamy tend to kind of, you can manipulate and tell them whatever. That's why she only has a certain type of people. Like, if you notice, the type of people that are in their circle are people that don't think for themselves. Well, even Bree, she's manipulated by Crystal, or whatever that girl's name. And Crystal's has orders from Christy. And it's a type, right? They can't think for themselves. The whole thing. They're very hard up. That's why they keep coming in my comment section. Like, I don't get it. But it's crazy that you'd support a woman that unalived her mom and also is predatorial towards children. You know what I'm saying? She's a liar. She's a manipulator. She's a thief, right? She steals on wheels. Remember when she stole like everything on wheels? Like, do you remember these things? Like, I think everything's very one-sided for some of you. But this girl ultimately masterminded her mom's unaliving. If Gypsy Rose Blanchard was not alive, would Dee Dee be here today? That's a yes or no. Yes or no. Not a but, not a how, not a maybe a this. If Gypsy Rose Blanchard was not in the picture ever, would Dee Dee Blanchard be alive today? That tells you who's the real villain. And period. That's how do you mastermind your mom's unaliving after admitting that you've been lying about being paralyzed and saying that your mom had Munchausen by proxy when you lied to her? Doesn't that sound a little crazy? I'm just saying. Hey, Erica! Like, you really have to think about that. That sounds really crazy. Erica, did you see what I posted? I'm sorry, y'all. My lips feel really dry, so I don't know why I'm obsessing over this chapstick. I think it's because my lips were peeling. Okay, so I posted a screenshot from a Foya where Gypsy did a video that the police saw, admitting from the age of 6, she had a surgery. She had a seizure during that surgery, and she became paralyzed, and they didn't know if it was temporary or long-term. And when she got feeling back, tingling and feeling back in her legs, she never told her mom. She said this. Gypsy Rose Blanchard said this. And I'll just show you.
What are we doing? Oh,
Okay.
is that the one from yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
What page is that? I think I have it here somewhere.
Let's page 65 and 66.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Someone's asking what are. It's a Foya. You'd have to request it.
Yeah, you would have to request it. Yeah. Did you want to read that again or no?
I just gave them the gist of it, so I don't really feel
Okay,
like.
never mind.
And then it's up here.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: I do think Dee Dee didn't have her around a lot of people.
She was a danger to herself. Gypsy was a danger to herself when it came to men and stuff like that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and that's obvious, though. I mean, you have to, you know, the whole thing, it all makes sense, and you have to be able to see that. You can't say that she wasn't a danger. Danger to herself, at least. Well, obviously she was a danger to others because, well, she's a murderer, but yeah. Dee Dee knew there was something wrong with Gypsy. Dee Dee knew about her behaviors and how she behaved and all of it. Dee Dee knew that, in my opinion. She absolutely knew that. And again, everything that we think that she knew about Gypsy, Gypsy acts the same way today. I mean, like, she thought nothing of hopping from one man to the next and getting pregnant a month later. Like, let's be real. She thought
Let me
nothing
tell you
of
something. Anybody that could violate
relationship.
a toothbrush the way she violated a toothbrush and violated the meow the way she did with an electric toothbrush says enough to me. How do you do everything with a toothbrush but brush your teeth?
I can't even, ever. But that's apparently the only thing she didn't do with the toothbrush. I'm just saying. You saw her face. That's the only thing she didn't do with a toothbrush. Thank you, honey. I heard them so cute.
Okay.
Say, she did absolutely what you think she did with an electric toothbrush.
I bet you that thing was raw to death.
I want to know what kind of batteries, because that she could sponsor a battery company.
And for 12 minutes consecutively,
Well,
that's
freaking minutes.
that's a good battery on that toothbrush, okay?
All right, somebody mark a clock now. It is 11:17 for me. Somebody let me know when 12 minutes is up, please. I want to show you how long 12 minutes is up. I mean, that little bean just came off. I'm just saying. The thing just fell off. But yes, 12 minutes from now, it is 11:17. This is wild. That's a long damn time to be scrubbing a bean with a brush. I'm just saying. And
All right, I put a timer for it.
there we go. Think about that, though. Like,
I wonder if she still uses toothbrushes or, you know, since she can afford it.
She sold some. There ain't no toothbrushes. Now she could just use it for that end. She doesn't have to worry about using it for that end and then trying to put it in her mouth and cross-contamination of, you know what I mean? Like, did she not realize those lips didn't have teeth? Like, did she not realize there were no teeth in those lips? Like, I'm just saying. She brushed her flaps. Now she just soaks them, yeah. Well!
Yeah. Yeah.
Awkward, long 12 minutes.
I feel like, because we only had 11 minutes, so think that, I mean, we have 11 more minutes, so think that whole minute that we just been talking, she just. Okay.
I want to know the battery that she uses, though. I mean, what battery? You're sitting there. How many videos?
That would be a great commercial, really, to be honest.
That's what you can be a sponsor for. Like, go do batteries, man. I bet you I can make my toothbrush last 3 weeks without shutting off. Like, for real. That's a long freaking time, Magda. Yes.
Yeah. She's a wild girl.
It wasn't rechargeable. It was batteries, because there's no way she plugged that thing up long enough for it to get some more juice to go for another 12. Oh, there's no way. Think about it. You brush your teeth for 2 minutes. 3 minutes. It expects 2 to 3 minutes of you brushing your teeth. It's not built to get you off and climax in 12 minutes. Like, it just wasn't built for that, man. I'm just saying.
That's just wild. Like, at what point would you ever think to yourself, yeah, I could actually use this toothbrush for other things?
Never in a freaking million years. Ever. Like, that's
I
just...
want to know what gets your thought process there. You don't
like you sit around and you're like, oh, you know what? Like, that's interesting. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'll put, you know, that looks about the right size. You know what I mean? Like, you just walk around going, oh, that looks like it'll fit. Like, Oh, my toothbrush. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Lips. Yeah, just slide right in there. Like, you were literally what? Scrubbing your what? Does she have a bean left? Is what I want to know. Because she's probably out there telling people it was removed at a medical abuse.
Okay, and we want to talk about. I want to talk about something really quick. I think I mentioned this briefly last night, but I really want to talk about this more in depth. Right? I'm gonna actually pull up the message if you can find it.
You weren't thinking electric? Yeah, you got to remember there's got to be some girth to it.
Okay. Does it say that she wasn't pregnant here?
It specifically said electric too.
Oh yeah. It said. Now remember, this was March 13th last year. He said that she was not pregnant. I just want to keep in mind that that baby definitely looks over
wow,
2
it really was March 13th. And again, let me tell you something that I've noticed with these people though.
They come hard when yes. So I'm really.
And they don't want it out there, they will come hard as hell. They will come hard as hell for the truth. I'm just saying. What does that say? If you could just keep, I would greatly appreciate that if you talk about the knowledge that I am about to share with you in a video, please say so, or if you want to say it's by me, that's okay, but just don't share the actual message. So I wanted to clarify some things before rumors get out of hand. I should probably start with the most recent. No, I am not pregnant, and no, Ryan and I are not getting a divorce. A few weeks ago, Ryan and I had went to the hospital because Ryan was having breathing issues and coughing a lot and was sick. So we went to urgent care where they sent him to get a chest x-ray because they suspected pneumonia. Oh, guess what? She wasn't with Ryan anymore. She was cheating on Ryan with Ken, and she was probably pregnant in March. Oh, she was absolutely pregnant in March. When did she say she got pregnant?
She said she got pregnant in April, but remember, they announced. She said the end of April during whatever Jazz Fest, but remember May 2nd is when they announced Ken was moving. He said he was moving because she was pregnant. So Jazz Fest was at the end of April. How could you know within 3 days?
She didn't even know she was pregnant yet. Because she was already pregnant there.
He did know, but how? I'm telling you, this might be some truth to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He had to have known. If she was already pregnant.
May 2nd. And she made sure to clear up that she was not pregnant here. Like, for what? Girl, I don't know you from a can of paint.
Yeah.
So I think that this, like, looking at this now and looking how old that baby look, I actually think it was February.
I absolutely believe that they were together before she left for that weekend with her family that she never returned on. I absolutely believe I believe, and again, not stating this as fact, just in case people want to twist my words, I believe she was absolutely pregnant then. I believe that the baby was not born early. I personally believe the baby was born in November, the end of November, and not the end of December.
Possibly the end of October, because that is a big baby for that gestation.
And I have had some big babies. Let me tell you something. My first was almost 10 pounds, okay? And if I showed you a picture of her at 3 months, you'd be like, there's no way.
I just want you to know that toothbrush is still going. Just a little reminder.
That poor bean. That's who we need to get justice for, damn it! Justice for the bean.
Yes, that toothbrush.
I mean, she's got to be raw and bleeding at this point. I'm just saying. Like, it wasn't I hope she wasn't using the bristle end.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
So you just put the whole battery pack, like...
Well, because wouldn't the battery stuff get messed up?
With gooey wetness? I would think so. When the juices leak into it, batteries would rust. Like,
You have 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Like, but then you're gonna sit there and brush your teeth with the other end of your juices. Like, what are you doing? Brushing my teeth with what? Juices? Oh, come on.
Yeah, I could never look at electric toothbrush the same. I just can't.
And then it was not just the front, though. Did you read it? It was the back, too. I mean,
there's still 3 more minutes left on that thing.
like I can't even. Oh, no. No, I'm just saying. She loves the challenge.
Definitely justice for that toothbrush, because that toothbrush was disrespected in a way that I wouldn't want any toothbrush to be disrespected.
But I mean, here you are sitting there, you can't explain why the dentist ripped all your teeth out, but yet you use the toothbrush for everything but brushing your teeth. You want to take a guess, Gypsy? I think I know why you got your teeth ripped out. Because you were too busy putting it in the wrong mouth. You were shoving it between the lips with no teeth. I'm just saying. And somehow, I'm going to be the horrible person for this. Not the person who shoved an electric toothbrush up there. I'm going to be the bad person for this. Just say, like, come on. We know it. Like, oh my God, she was sitting there talking about.
I said, Ivy, did you
put a toothbrush up on the line?
Okay watching her on an electric chair? You said, yeah, I said that.
Listen, I am never going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Why? Because I'm never going to give anybody the chance to catch me in a lie. They sure did say that to me. You mean to tell me, did you say that, Ivory Rose Nose? Did you say that you wanted her strapped in a chair until her legs stopped moving? I sure did. You were waiting for me to get scared and come out with a lie, but listen, you're only going to get, I'm going to say it. I will say it and stand 10 toes down with everything I say. Absolutely. If I thought it was horrible and I didn't believe it, I would have said it. Yes, I absolutely believe she should have been strapped to a chair. You all know how I feel about premeditated murder. I've also said it about Nick, though, so in all fairness, it wasn't just Gypsy, it's Nick, too. You all know how I feel. I stated how I felt about premeditated murder. The justice system, everybody wants to sit there and go out throwing gray, then we'll go gray. But I personally believe it's black and white. You premeditate murder, you sit in jail for life or get strapped to a chair. There should be no,
toothbrush is coming to an end.
Justifies it, but this doesn't. Gypsy's abuse justifies the murder, but not Nick's. Like, make it make sense, man. Make it make sense.
So that toothbrush is going for another 26 seconds.
No, we moved on to 3 topics. Read 2. Like, come on. Read a whole email, discussed the email, read a paper, like, and she's still flicking that toothbrush.
But that kind of makes sense as to why she was trying to sell it. And she said she'd hit people over the head with bottles. She was acting like she was a hood rat from the Bronx.
Can you imagine being the cop that had to watch that video while she rode the toothbrush for 12 minutes?
Yeah. Okay, so the alarm just went off.
That was a wild ride. Like, there's no way that, I mean, didn't she get pap smears, man? Like, nobody checked the rawness of that?
Well, if she didn't brush her teeth, I don't think she, I mean, never mind.
Never mind.
But what we do know is there's something out there with good batteries. And, you know, whoever is the toothbrush brand that she, maybe she might want to do be an influencer for a brush that lasts 12 minutes consecutively.
That's what I'm saying. Like, guaranteed, this toothbrush guaranteed to last you a 12-minute orgasm or your money back.
Look at my Foya if you want to know the proof.
I can't. I'll take that.
But you know now, all electric toothbrushes are going to come with signage. This is not to be used anywhere other than your mouth on your phone.
Next month, electric toothbrushes will have a warning fucking label. Please don't insert into vagina. Can cause harm. So there's that. It's not. So this is not. So a FOIA is just the Freedom of Information Act. It's what gives you the right to go and request to wherever you need to go request it. Public record. That is the difference. These people were a FOIA. I think it's just easier for me to say it was FOIA'd, but literally it was just requested from the place because we have the right to gain access to public records. That's
also, notice that people that really don't understand what custody means and that there are 2 different types of custody, legal custody and physical custody. Yep. Just because you have legal custody does not mean you have physical custody to that child. Legal custody means anything as far as legalities, as far as doctor's appointments, as far as major decision making, as far as anything like that, you have on paper legal rights.
Yes.
Anytime someone has to supervise you while you have your kid, that's called supervised visitation.
I bring my next video is a toothbrush commercial because
And physical custody is separate. You can have, they are not one and the same.
no, they're not. You can have physical physical or residential custody. You can have legal custody.
And normally there's joint legal custody, and then someone has physical custody.
Yeah. Or they both have joint legal and joint physical.
Legal,
or whatever,
yeah.
however the case goes. But yeah, when custody is broken down into two
Brought to you by Colgate. Arizona's like, these people, I don't know how this Gypsy roast be making me between Arizona and Colgate, just the weirdest thing in the world.
It doesn't say when the toothbrush incident happened. It did, however, happen more than once. And did it say that it happened with Dan?
I don't remember.
I feel like it did, but I'm not sure. But it happened on more than one occasion. That I do know for a fact. Because it's stated it multiple times. Can you imagine being a police officer who had to watch that and write that? Like, chick rode toothbrush for 12 minutes. Like, he had to sit there and count how long she rode the toothbrush. Like, could you imagine going home at the end of the day? I'd be like, dude, I need a new job because I just sat there and watched some chick ride a toothbrush for 12 minutes.
Man, can you imagine explaining that to your wife?
No. It's like, honey,
I never even.
no, please don't. Like, yeah, no.
You're like, I'll pass on brushing my teeth tonight.
Right? It's like next time someone's like, hey, you got a toothbrush, or here's your toothbrush. I'm going to be like, oh, like, is that an invitation?
Yeah, that is definitely.
I can't imagine being that officer or whomever that was that had to, first of all, somebody had to take that stuff off the computers, and then somebody had to sit down and watch it and narrate it or whatever. You know what I mean? That's wild. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely someone had to. Oh, my drink got on my shirt. I'm like,
Well, I'm sure.
I forgot.
And and I'm sure there were two because, well, ugh. But yeah, there's that.
No, it's a lot. But I think that this is really, really interesting. What I do think also at some point, I think we need to start playing like clips of her interrogation.
Yeah. You know what I wanted to bring up as well? And then there's a lot more to this. I'm going to go through that again tomorrow. But do you know what I wanted to bring up as well? Her recent videos, the one about the microdeletion.
Yes.
Because
yes.
literally, that makes sense. Somebody make that make sense to me.
There's a lot of contradictions, even in that, a lot, even in comparison to her 60-minute interview.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's just, I don't know, that's just wild to me. But yeah, I did a video on it today, so if you guys didn't see the video, go watch it really quick. But ultimately what it's saying is that, now, again, why do we think that everything that comes out of Gypsy Rose's mouth is a lie? Well, because it wasn't not too long ago that she was telling us that she didn't have a microdeletion, right? She would not admit to having the microdeletion. We didn't know what we were talking about. It's all lies. They came hard. Then it ended up the lies was actually the truth. So
even she lied that her mom never tested for it and her dad was negative, when in her medical records it's clear that her mom was tested for it, her mom was negative, and her dad would never answer the phone for the doctor's office to have him tested.
Yep. So she's saying that it was 2012 she was diagnosed with it, and that Dee used the microdeletion that she had, that she's now admitting to, that Dee used that microdeletion as a blueprint for all of these fake symptoms that Dee told the doctors, and all of the fake surgeries that Dee told the doctors to perform, and that she knew that's what it was because she would go look it up, and she knew that it was this microdeletion, the one hold on, sorry. But yeah, she knew that it was a microdeletion, and there's no way that that's possible. There's no way that that the reason that Gypsy had all of those surgeries, they all coincided with the microdeletion was because, well, Dee Dee used that microdeletion as a blueprint. So
But it wasn't even discovered until
when it wasn't even on journals, medical journals, until 2008. And she was diagnosed in 2012. 2012 was 3 years before Dee Dee was unalive. So she was being treated for all of these things way before, decades before that. So how can Dee Dee abused her off the basis of that, of knowing that she had that microdeletion? Make it make sense.
someone said that her grandma did have it too. I haven't seen solid proof of that. And that was the great grandma on, I believe, Rod's side. But from what I understand, based off of what their family members have said to me, Rod Sr. had a daddy uncle. That's all I can say. Allegedly. Okay.
Allegedly. You're just lying. Well, you know what? Who knows whose baby anybody is? I hope, you know.
I mean, listen, that's what they
Are we shocked by these people? Obviously, I mean, all those genes intertwined with Gypsy. You got the genes from that side, the genes from that side, and look what it fucking created, dude.
a menace
Don't we
to
surprised
society.
by any of these people?
It created a menace to society.
Wild.
A
Wow.
complete menace to society.
Like, that's why Rod is so...
I'm not on the phone. This is my phone.
That's why Rod is so, you know, I'm not going to tell her she has to apologize. I don't think she did anything wrong.
Whoever said that blocked them, because I'm tired of people feeling like they can get in here and tell me what I need to do and then accuse me of something that I'm not even doing.
That's so funny. I don't even pay attention. I barely pay attention to mine.
Like, people are weird. Tell me I need to get off the phone. This is my phone.
I can, yes, I will in a little bit, Tina. I will. Before we go, I will play it. It's funny.
What are you going to play?
A video that, is this Jessica? Jessica did with the toothbrush? Hold on, I'll show you now then since.
Hey, Fred.
Let me just move my stuff out of the way for y'all.
No, when Britt was on my lives before, back when Bree, remember the whole granny corn thing? You remember when I told you about that, the granny corn?
The granny corn?
With Bree and Bree's search engine?
No.
Bree was searching a younger woman and an older woman corn. That's why I said I think her and Christy might have been doing something. But
You know, nothing surprises
Brett
me.
used to get into my lives and spam it with corn.
Are you
Thank you,
serious?
Brett. Oh my goodness. It used to crack me up. Oh wait. Normal people in the bathroom. Play it, play it, play it.
I'm trying. Oh, hold on, you can't hear it.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
It's funny. Man, when you heard that song come on, you already knew what was up. Like, that was like such the perfect song for that.
Yeah, it really was.
That's so funny because it's like there's no words needed.
You don't even
No words needed for that. No.
just know. Yep.
No explanation. You just understood the assignment.
You sure did. The poor that's what I'm saying. The poor toothbrush, man.
The toothbrush was stressed out. It said it had to do like overtime and it didn't understand why.
I mean, did the thing smoke? Like, I want to know. I have questions, okay? I have some serious questions. Was there smoke? Like, was the thing, and there's smoke. The friction, man. Friction starts fires.
Could you? I mean, did she like rub that thing down with alcohol after? Like, what was the process?
She shoved the toothbrush up her hoo-ha. Do you think she actually worried about rubbing it down? Come on, no, she didn't rub it. No. It went up there dirty with all kinds of toothpaste grit.
No,
like
that
all
toothbrush
minty
was
fresh.
not in prison.
Minty,
That
minty,
toothbrush
minty fresh.
was
Like
on video camera. With
minty fresh all up in there. Talk about having some minty breath.
man, I will never look at an electric.
Wow, that's a
toothbrush.
good question, Lily. Do you think it was her toothbrush or Dee Dee's? How fucked up is that? Yo, I give up. That's bullshit. Oh, I can't. She said, do you think it was her toothbrush or Dee Dee's? Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. I mean, she killed her, guys. She couldn't have thought too kindly of her. The poor woman not only got murdered, but her toothbrush was freaking ridden by Gypsy.
Damn. Oh. Hell.
Oh, I will forever.
Never look at a toothbrush the same, y'all. Why do y'all have to be like that, damn it?
For the rest of my life, I am going to protect my toothbrush.
Man, listen, I'm locking that thing away. Okay? My kids cannot touch that. Nowhere close. You get out this bathroom.
Gary, listen, I'm gonna get a little lock for my cabinet. It's getting locked up in there. First of all, it's gonna be wrapped in saran wrap, and then I'm gonna put it in a little toothbrush holder, and it's gonna be all locked up. I'm gonna guard that shit like.
So, okay, my daughter lied about something.
The juices in your mouth, like you might as well eat yourself. It's like, ugh.
So, my daughter lied about something one day, which is not like a regular occurrence, but of course, you know, kids. So I was thinking, this is how crazy I am. I was laying in the bed that night, and I said, well, damn. I wonder how it all started with Dee Dee and Gypsy. Did she start like with little white lies? And that's what was interesting to me when you explained the whole psych unit thing. No, because listen, I'm a hypochondriac when it comes to like anything like health wise. Not so much now, but if I put my lipstick on crooked, I think I had a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm a hygiene person.
For real, like, I remember one time I had a hair bump back when I was much younger. Girl, I went to the doctor and told him I had them bumps. And I knew I had it. And I don't know how this happened, but I had it. Tell me why the doctor was like, no, you don't. This is a hair bump. I said, no, I looked it up on Google. That's what it says. He said, no. Girl, when I tell you, like, I am that person that I'll Google it. That seems like it's it. Oh, that's what I have. Like it, I don't do it now, but girl. So the fact that I was sitting back thinking that, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I wonder how it started. Did she start with like one lie and then all of a sudden it just went bad? That's why I was like, when you were explaining it yesterday, I was like, oh, okay. Them type of kids, you know, they're them type of kids from the time they're really young. So I think that that's really interesting too. But I just thought that was interesting to tell you. And I just mixed this just to see something. I just want to see if this it will be pretty. Why am I so weird?
Do you think that as we speak, Ken, Rod, and Christy are all hiding their toothbrushes? Maybe that's what that brush was for and why it was hidden under there. Like, don't be acting like you didn't know what that brush was for, Gypsy. Where's your brush?
I know Ken hiding it for sure.
That's what, yeah.
If I was Ken, I would be hiding my brush.
Yeah.
Oh, that's old, girl. I forgot to take it down.
She's using it on Ken.
Yeah.
They said that,
Well, we do know she has to be letting that man every which way but loose, right?
Is his bum minty fresh too?
I mean, the way did you see this part when he did this?
He did this?
Let me see if I can find it. I feel like I took a screenshot.
So this and this and this and all of that, and I think I missed. the way he looked at himself in the mirror. Ken is just fabulous.
Oh, this.
Oh, stop. If my husband,
And then this.
my husband would never be like, ever. Ever. Christy's gonna hide her toothbrushes, absolutely. Spirit fingers.
Oh, and what about the slumber party vibes?
Oh, I can't. If my husband ever crawled up on the bed and sat Indian style with me, it would just be too much. Like, that's just wild. Not that he doesn't get in the bed and he doesn't sit there and he doesn't, but my husband would never get in the bed and sit Indian style with me like that. It's just weird. He's very scrumptious. Scrumptious.
Damn, there was one where I thought it was just super funny, but I cannot find it. And I thought I saved it.
I would crack up this cross leg though. That's what I'm saying.
He should have did the baby mama song.
As he was sipping on his mini Coke.
I'm just saying.
He couldn't sleep in a full-size bed with her. Who loved on the toothbrush? I'm behind. Gypsy. And hers went there too.
Man, that toothbrush, I will never have the same.
I will forever, I can't. Like, that's just, yeah. I mean, so you got, not even, I mean, it's bad that you're laying in a bathtub and smushing food all over you. Like, that's wild. But again, like, what'd you do? Take a hamburger? Like, what are you doing with food in a bathtub on a video with a man? Like, cucumbers? Like, what kind of food are we doing here? I got toothbrushes and cucumbers.
Right, and using a toothbrush, like,
There's, yeah. You were ordering, like, dildos from China, wasn't she?
oh, she was? Well, she was getting them when she had to be ordering something else.
Didn't she say in her book she bought like a 9-inch dildo?
Oh,
It was a 9-inch, right? Was it 9 inches?
Yeah.
She probably used a
Would
curling
you
iron.
be surprised? Come on now.
In her book, right? It was a 9-inch. I knew it was some crazy size. Because I'm like, do y'all really know how big 9 inches is? Like,
Man,
you should have just like,
somebody fall right in and can't even get out. Like the way her thing's set up.
that's crazy. But yeah, she did. She bought one, a 9-inch from China. She said it in her book. So like, what was maybe the toothbrush battery finally ran out and she felt like she needed to get something to replace it? I don't know. But I'm not going to lie. that question-
She said she wrote this book for her daughter.
Yeah, as you're sitting there talking about, if my mother, I am grown. And my mother's passed away. But if she was
My
alive,
mom even says anything
if
about,
my mother ever said, and if I even heard the word dildo come out of her mouth, I'm a full-grown adult with 10 kids.
like, I'm covering my ears. Flex.
Nope.
Like me, baby ears.
Virgin ears, stop now. Like, you can't say that stuff. Like, and you're going to sit there and read about how you traded your kitty for biscuits and gravy and how you went and bought some guy who murdered your mother a 9-inch dildo off from China?
Say China one more time.
China? How do you say it? How do you say it?
I think your accent makes it so much funnier. She said China. Oh, that's so funny. That's hilarious. I was not expecting that.
Janet is in her book that she
All
got.
places. Why from China? Like, I just really want to
She specifically
understand.
remembered it was from China, like as in, I don't know, maybe she didn't spend a lot of money on it. I don't know why the China had anything to do with it. She just remembered it was China and she wrote it down. Maybe she was on a word quota and she needed a couple of extra words and so she threw in from China.
I don't even understand that. Like, I mean,
I
Not-
really what are you doing? Toothbrush is on page 69 in the book.
wait, she said she did herself with the toothbrush on her book?
No, she bought the 9-incher on page 69. And then here, what was this one 69? Hold on. Which one is
It had to
69?
be Wish at that time. I think it was Wish at that time.
Did she had it sent to her or I think you mean to tell me Dee Dee didn't know dildos were coming in the mail? Like,
I wonder about them
think
wigs.
about this for a second. Your mother was so abusive. You were never allowed out. You couldn't have cell phones. You couldn't talk on the phone to your daddy. But the woman didn't check your mail to see if you had dildos coming in. Think about that. Write your father a letter.
DJ Bree, can you spin that for us?
Like,
I
make it
think
make
that's
sense.
what we got to call DJ Bree, because only she could spin that story. Okay.
Like, she couldn't have phones. She couldn't have nothing. She was so isolated. But she could order a night. Let me tell you something. I was not isolated. I was not none of those things. And I could not get
Oh, my mom would have.
in my house. She would be what? She didn't know. But she
Like,
did.
were we even really? I don't think. I feel like I wasn't really having stuff shipped to the house.
Hell no.
If
Hell
we
no.
didn't go to the store and buy it, I wasn't
Get
having it.
it. No. But I mean, honestly, you mean to tell me she was getting packages in the mail and Dee Dee never questioned it?
And think about it. It wasn't like Amazon Prime was a thing then.
Right? Like, she couldn't even bathe by herself, right? She was taking baths with mama and stuff, like, but she's going to let boxes come in and not check them. She couldn't call daddy because the phone calls could be private. She couldn't call anybody. She could only watch Disney. Like, everything was checked on this crap. And she literally had hours every single day to act a fool online with a man and then get a dildo sent to the house in a box. 9 inches. You have, like, first of all, we all know Amazon. Okay? There's like a 6-foot box for something this size. Like, let's be real. So can you imagine the size box that came for a 9-inch dildo? Like, the thing must have been massive. And Dee Dee never questioned this big box that came for this thing.
Or the shed. The shed is something I honestly think
The playhouse?
shed is very important.
Yep.
Because that shed, it doesn't make sense.
No, she was turning tricks in there. It was Ruby's playhouse. Why don't you Ruby's playhouse?
Demona.
And you don't sit there and be like, how could you think about poor Gypsy like that, saying that she could turn tricks? She said it herself. She would pay men for money. I mean, she would get money for sex. Like, you heard her say those things herself. So it's not like I'm picking on her. Or I'm saying something that was totally far out.
She was getting money for playtime.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, I'm only saying things that she made. She said. It's not like I'm just making this up and, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
she said she would
like
hit
that.
him over the head. Gypsy was a little G. Gypsy was out there thugging.
Sure was. Said, clock it, I'm gonna take your wallet. Sure was. And she just wanted to be full-blown criminal.
I'm Gypsy from the block. Because it was definitely given
I'm Gypsy from Cell Block C.
facts. You know what? I was thinking Cardi G. Not Cardi G, man. Come on, Cardi G. That's her new name, Cardi G.
You're so funny.
Oh, man. Cardi G.
That's just, I don't know. That's just crazy to you, though. Mm-mm.
The only thing is she's not going to go to red carpets. Dang, that's crazy. So,
She's Cardi G. The only thing she does is flying carpets.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
can't. I
that's
just,
wild.
like, these stories are wild. But it sounds like, oh my God, like, if I were making this up, it would be horrible, right? But it's all true. Like, these things all happen. The toothbrush incident happened. And you know what's really wild is, it doesn't even, I don't know. I feel like, man, I would be mortified. What? What? Maybe that's why, I had something to say and I caught myself.
Well, everything about this is honestly crazy, which is kind of, which is why I think the whole thing is weird about her coming out with the book, like in the way that she did.
I don't know. I was just going to say, maybe that's why Nana turned into a gypsy lover, because she can relate about the
She
embarrassment,
can,
about
you
getting
know,
caught, about
Nana's
having
a
sex
very
with her.
freaky girl. Let's stop. She wants folks to talk about her so she could cry victim while she talked trash about you earlier in the day. The thirst is real. The thirst is real. And this is going to be her later.
Stop it. Stop it. But no, I don't, that's my concern though, is that just the way of thinking about, like, how would you even think of a toothbrush, right? Like, it takes a really twisted person, sick
Why
person,
when you think
different
of a
person. I don't know
toothbrush
how you
to
want to
brush
word
my
it.
teeth? I don't think anything more, anything less of a toothbrush. I think of a
Just think about
toothbrush,
the
I don't think
mind.
about brushing my teeth.
Right, because you're not sick. Think about the mind that has to go and think of something like that. That kind of mind doesn't change. It doesn't just sit there in prison after murder for 8.5 years and go, oh, I'm a changed person now, let me brush my teeth with my toothbrush. No, it doesn't just change like that. You don't just turn that sick off. Sick is sick. And let's be real, is she getting help for it? She didn't sit there in intense therapy for 8.5 years. Let's be for real. So you can't sit there and be like, well, she went to therapy and she's healed. No, she's not. That's the
Well,
concern.
you don't even get
in public
healed
without
at
healed.
therapy, and I think
You
that's
don't.
even a misconception, especially with the personality type that she has.
Agreed. I agree. That we think she has. Agreed.
You definitely don't. That's not that type of personality type. But anyway,
this is
yeah.
But that's the mind that's in control of a child right now. Like, you looked at your toothbrush and thought of it sexually. You made your toothbrush sexual.
You see
And
that?
now you have a child. What is that? Oh, he's
Gio fell asleep on the floor.
sleeping. That's so cute. But like, you made your toothbrush sexual, and now you're in charge of a whole person, a whole baby, who you already previously had perverted thoughts about. Side or totally gypsy side or whatever, and you just didn't like the way I presented it. Fair enough. But to sit there and say that I lied, I redacted, I put up false information, wild to me. Be a whole grown ass adult. And if you don't like what I have to say, well, then post your own videos, keep your story going, and I'll keep mine. There's no need for this nonsense. There's no need. You're never going to change my mind. I know what homework I did. I know what research I did. Your friends with her, it's personal to you. I get it. I get it. It's personal to you. You're her friend. That's fine. All well and good. Then again, you are who you associate with, but whatever. Okay, she's your friend. Coach it like an adult. Don't sit there and, did I come to any of you and say, oh, she redacted things and she made it up? Because let's be real. If I had told you guys that she lied about her paperwork, you would believe me because she's done it before. She sits there on her computer and makes shit up. But you see, I'm grown. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, she made that up. Her paperwork's wrong.
She
No,
literally made up a
I read
document
yesterday. It
saying,
is the same as what I read yesterday, word for word. It said I read it in its entirety, in the complete section. You read a sentence and went off on a tangent, trying to make up a whole bunch of fluff, trying to make it sound like it's something it wasn't, putting your opinion in it. We're not the same. We're not the same.
at all.
And if I hear one more time, because you're an educated person, you can't believe that. I'm a highly educated person, and I believe the facts that I see in front of my face. And I'm educated enough to be able to hypothesize and come to my own conclusions with facts that I see to back it up. So, I mean,
But you know how that goes.
how often has anybody ever hear me talk about what Bree said is wrong, or Bree, you know what I mean? She did this and she did that. Bree, go talk about whatever it is you want, whatever narrative you want to put out there. Go put it out there. But I have the same right you do. You can't say all the stuff in cold water. Okay?
Effectively.
I know,
The
you're
girl
judging me.
unalived her mom, so anything she says is not fact.
So push your narrative and leave me over here to push mine. And let people decide for themselves. But to sit there and make accusations is wild. Wild, the fact that you have to accuse people of doing something they're not, just because, oh my gosh, Ivory might have said something that made a little bit of sense. And now I have to go make it look like she's this horrible person because people might take that and come to their own opinion about it. Oh my gosh, imagine. Believe me, believe her, quite frankly, what anybody else believes. I know what I believe. I tell everybody why I believe what I believe. I give you the reason I believe. And I've been doing this for quite some time. So, if this cat does not get off of my...
All right, I'm gonna get up here because I want to take a shower. And girl, I didn't really get much sleep last night because I was worried about getting that garbage out there in time, but I didn't want to do it in the dark. So yeah, it was
Yes, it is after midnight.
really crazy actually.
You go get some rest. We will with a different section. And I appreciate everybody for all of the gifts. I appreciate everyone
Yes.
for like the engagement. Take what you will from this, guys. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to think. Take what you will from it, and there's that. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, Nina. Thank you. And I will see you
Good
guys
night,
tomorrow.
everybody. If you caught this at the end, this all of these lives on here will be over on my YT. If you're not following me on YT, videos on there every day.
Same thing here. I'll have mine posted and same thing.